Welcome to this video on the TOEFL test. In this video, we are going to discuss the basics of the reading section. This video is brought to you by Perfect Scores. This is Preetinder Kaur. And don't forget to visit our website for more videos, that is perfect-scores.com. You can go to YouTube and watch those videos, and you can also share and like our page at facebook.com. So let's get started with the basic introduction of the reading section on the TOEFL test. Now here's some information on the reading section. You'll be getting 13 to 15 questions per passage. The scale score ranges from 0 to 30. That means if you do not attempt the reading section, you will get a score of 0, and maximum is 30. How the raw score of the number of questions that you attempt correct is converted into the scale score is not known. It's not publicly available. So all you need to know is that your reading score is going to be out of 30. You can skip questions, you can return back to questions, change answers, and there is no negative marking for wrong answers. There is no negative marking for unattempted questions. You'll be given enough of scratch paper, so in case you have a habit of taking down notes on the passage and then attempting the questions, that is fine. You'll be able to do so. There's a little different scoring for the different questions. There are basically two types of questions. One is the simple multiple choice question types where only one answer is correct, and if you do that, you get 1 raw point. The other is where you have multiple answers. So if you've seen the video on the introduction to the TOEFL test, I introduced this question type over there. That 6 options will be given to you, for example, and 3 of them are going to be correct. So depending on how many of these 3 you are able to get, you will get some partial marking. And usually these kind of questions are worth 2 or 3 raw points. Keep in mind the following things. First of all, you need to avoid careless mistakes. At the same time, you don't have to keep wasting time on a question you are not getting. Slow down if you think that you've got the question a little bit, but you need to understand it a little bit more. Don't be in a hurry because you have enough time. And third thing, you need to practice POE, which is basically the process of elimination. Remember, sometimes you may not be able to go to the answer directly. You will have to eliminate the other options and then come back to the answer that is correct. So here is the basic approach that you need to follow. The first thing is you work the passage very quickly. When I say work the passage, that means very quickly glancing through it, skimming through it, scanning through it, or you can even read the first sentence, whichever approach you want. But that should be done really quickly in less than 5 minutes. The next step is go and read the question, interpret, that means understand the task of the question, what it actually wants. The next step, come back to the passage where you think the answer is, work that area in a little more detail, and now get the answer. Predict the answer, that means put it in your own words, and finally use the process of elimination. Eliminate the options that do not match your prediction, that do not match the passage. Remember, you are not supposed to use any outside information, and it's basically an open book test where the answer is given in the passage. All you have to do is find it. So there are 3 basic types of passages that you might get. One is expository, where a concept is introduced and then details are provided on that. The other kind is an argumentative passage where a problem is introduced, or sometimes an argument is introduced and some kind of explanation is given for that. And the third is narrative, which tells you the story about something, maybe an historical event, maybe some kind of process, maybe some kind of event. So all these are the passage types. Now you don't have to take tension in the test as to the passage in front of you is which one of these 3. This information is clearly for telling you the scope of the passages that you get. You will not get any other kind of passage, only among these 3. Here is a little bit information on the question types. You need to know about this. It's very important. First of all, questions 1 to 9 are usually specific questions. That means they talk about a specific part of the passage. For these questions, you do not need to read the whole passage, just that part which contains the answer. The next couple of questions are vague questions about things that are not very specific, so could be the main purpose of the passage or any other inference based question where you will not get the answers in a specific location. And the last question is build a summary usually, and this is where you get those multiple answers. So these are really scoring. It's good if you're able to get these questions correct. Here are some specific questions. You get vocabulary in context questions. For example, a simple word sound is used in the passage. You have to tell how this word is used. Is it used as a noun? Is it used as an adjective? Is it used as a verb? So you have to go back to the passage and find out in which sense is this word being used. You may get some kind of reference questions. For example, there's a pronoun it. You have to tell it refers to what in the passage in that particular sentence. So the word it will be highlighted in the passage and you just have to tell that out of the options it refers to which one. You have some detailed questions. Then paraphrase, which is basically the same information in new words. You have definition questions, questions concerning with what should come after this passage, sentence insertion. So you'll be given 4 different points in the passage and you will be given a sentence. You basically have to find out where to insert that sentence. And where questions again. So where does the author mention this, or where is this information found? Select a sentence where this is done, where that is done. These kind of questions. So in the next video we'll be discussing all of these question types in a little more detail. Vague questions are generally of 2 types: accept not questions and inference questions. So in accept not questions, few options are going to be correct. You have to find the one that is not the answer. That is an exception. So that's how you solve those questions. And inference questions, based on whatever is implied in the passage, or what does the passage suggest, or which must be true, or the author will agree with which of the following. So these kind of questions are inference questions. And then you have some general questions like the summary one. So these are roughly the kinds of questions that you'll be facing. And remember, the summary question is usually worth 3 points, so you must attempt these questions in a correct manner. So that's all for this video on reading. Thank you so much for watching this one. And the next video that you need to watch is reading video, that is part 2, where we'll be discussing the common question types in a little more detail. Thank you for watching this video.